Last year, my wife Morgan and I were fortunate enough to travel Ecuador for 6 weeks. We hiked the Andean mountains and volcanoes, we enjoyed jazz in the city, and we were even able to witness the humpback whale migration firsthand. To say the least, Ecuador is a beautiful country with immense opportunities to enjoy nature and their rich culture. The country is definitely not without its struggle. It has had a very difficult past and is still currently going through its own hardships at the moment, of which I'll probably go into a little more detail on our next podcast episode. But through our experience and what we actually found is a country full of individuals who care deeply about their homeland. And Juan Carlos is one of those people. We came across Juan's guest house when we were looking for a place to stay in Machalilla, or Machalilla as the locals would pronounce it. This area in Ecuador is a very small coastal community that is surrounded by the greater Machalilla National Park, of which is home to multiple inland indigenous communities. Juan captured our attention with his joyous personality and just all-around great attitude. We then found out that he is a biologist who has found purpose in his life by working with the local community to help restore Ecuador's coral reef to its once lively past. I wanted to record a short conversation with Juan to help share a story of commitment and a vision for a better future. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider subscribing to help show your support for the show and the channel. With that, here's my conversation with Juan Carlos of Machalilla, Ecuador. Carlos, thank you so much for doing this. We were talking earlier this morning and I just felt a little bit of inspiration from your story and we make videos from our travels and stuff and we talk to people from the places that we meet and you seemed extremely interesting and I wanted to help share your story and maybe in a small capacity, maybe we can help try giving back to supporting your cause and your efforts here.
Thank you very much.
So thank you for sitting down and having this conversation.
Thank you for you being here. Okay, to the first, sorry with my English, it's not perfect, it's long from perfect. But I will try explain what is happening here in little town, fisher town, Machalilla.
Okay.
My name is Carlos, Juan Carlos Sainz. I living in Copenhagen in Scandinavia, in Denmark, many years, but always work with the community here, a small community, fisherman community, many years, and try to change the way they think about nature, and it was my goal. But now it's getting a little bit more, the things are going that way. So I take what I have. I learned in Scandinavia many things about life and corals. And I decided come here, change Copenhagen to Machalilla, to come to Machalilla. And start a project. Not really just a project. I think it's a way to give a small fisher community a purpose in life. It's long time project.
Yes.
And will have effect in other generations.
Yes.
So I decided to come here because in Denmark I didn't need nothing. I had a good life, but always was the plan come back and share the knowledge and the experience I had in all these years in Scandinavia. And it's working. It had been hard, but it's working. Mm-hmm. Working with the community. If you don't have the community first, you cannot start any project. Worse if it's like one like this.
Yes.
And I had problems when I start here. People take a knife, a machete, they lock the door in my... No, I have experienced many things.
Yes.
But lead by lead, the people know what we are trying to do and join us. Now, the same people that take the machete out is working with me in the Coral Reef. They help me to clean, they do diving, and I think it's working, and I am happy with that.
Very good. So you said that your project and your focus is the coral reef restoration here. With what you mentioned earlier, you studied biology and you went to Denmark and Scandinavia and you learned these skills, right?
Yeah.
And you mentioned earlier that you had other difficulties from learning a learning curve of coral reef restoration here. So outside of the community, what was a little bit of your process of getting over that hump of learning about the coral here, and like how have you learned to come this far in a total of 6 years?
Oh, madre mía. What can I do? I learned the wrong technique and in the wrong corals. I know it, but I believe the same technique can work also in this kind of corals. You know, Scandinavia is another climate, another thing. They have reef and corals, but other kind of corals, and I learned from this kind of coral.
Yeah.
When I come here and I try to copy the same system in this kind of corals, doesn't work. So I needed to start from zero and try to make different techniques, metal structures, different type of structures. I had tried in ropes, in lines. I had tried with cement.
Yes, yes.
I had tried many different techniques, but with the making mistake and learning what is good, we come out with a structure we call the spider. It's a metal structure, and we take the corals we can use and bind it and take care of the structure and the coral into the coral have full the structure, and with the time the yarn, the metal disintegrate.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
From the photos and videos you showed us earlier, they had you attached the small coral to the rebar and the metal,
Yeah.
and eventually the coral will just take over the seabed again naturally. Is that essentially the intention?
Essential, that is the intention,
Okay.
and is that way it had to work,
Yes.
and it's fantastic. Yeah, I'm very happy with that. It's 10 years, but the more difficult part was not planting the corals.
Yes.
It was the community, convincing the community that is something good. When I put the first structure, somebody in the community had the word to dive and take the structure from the
Really?
seabed and take all the corals and put the structure 200 meters in other way.
Oh.
Because the mentality here was very difficult.
Yeah.
But that had changed.
Yes, very
with
good.
time, yeah. But that had changed in this community. I have still the other part of town.
Yeah.
It's more difficult, but we show them our ways, and now they are putting attention, and maybe it's more easy for me come for
Yeah,
the
for sure.
downtown.
This it's like you said, it's turned into your life project. It sounds like it's
It's not the project, it's a purpose. And
Yeah,
I
purpose,
want a
purpose.
purpose in life, and I try to share that purpose with all fisherman community.
Yes.
And they have take the idea, and they can see the future, and they are fully integrated in the project. And have take time, but now I can see the good things.
That's awesome. What do you have a final vision or a goal with this purpose, or are you just trying to help get this started so that way the conservation efforts keep going well into the future?
Of course, both.
Yes.
The conservation is conservation, and you need to learn the new generation, take care, and know what we do.
Yeah.
Know who, what what we do.
Yes.
One day I'm gone, but I want to left a very vibrant reef where the new generation can take people like you, interested in biology, and see octopus or fish or turtles, and they can make a business of that, and they are happy, you are happy, and the nature is happy.
For sure.
That is the world.
There's an equilibrium to be had of the new world and connection with the environment. I think if we can get there.
They didn't have that connection, the people here, but now slowly is getting deep connection with what they do.
Yes.
If they is a part of the work, they come appreciate more. That is why I try to involve the community.
Yeah.
I can do with the work with other scientific people. Many colleagues have come here and help, volunteers too.
Mm-hmm.
Not many. Okay, some. But the community is very important for me.
Yes, that's awesome. With what you said earlier, you made me think about something that we've never saw, and that's what you mentioned about the way the coral reef was 30 years ago. And we've never experienced anything like that. Can you talk a little bit about what you remember from back in the day?
My first time in this area, it was fantastic. It's 35 years ago. I like to dive, and that the part of the it was on now. Nobody knows it. Mm-hmm. And you can take the octopus just if you walk a little bit on the water, and you have the water here, and you can take octopus, because the corals come all the way from the marine reserve, the today marine reserve, all the way to the beach. Yeah. It was fantastic. We have hard corals, coral suaves, many kinds of corals. But something happened. The tourists start to buy the corals, and the corals, when it is alive, it's not so attractive. It's green and it's very, not boring, but it's not so attractive. Yes. But if the coral died, it's like ivory trees. Ivory trees, yes, and it's beautiful. So the tourists start to buy it. And the fisherman is 80% of pobreza, I don't know how it's poverty. Mm-hmm. Poverty in this town, 80%. Yeah. So they need to have something, but they don't think about what they did.
Yeah, it's hard to criticize, but it's a short-sighted to make money, right? Because if you're trying to have tourism and people from around the world to come and you host them, like you said earlier, you need the coral to stay there. So that way people want to dive, people want to go out and fishing, because if you remove the coral, you lose the fish, you lose everything else.
We need to work with the tourists, not the foreigners. The foreigners don't give so many problems. The Ecuadorians are the people is no conscience, don't have conscience, natural conscience, and they buy it because the ignorance. They don't know. Ignorancia is nothing bad. I am very ignorant in many things, but they don't know about the damage they are doing.
For sure.
But now, today, I believe I want to believe, and nobody want to break the coral to sail.
Yeah.
I want to believe that.
Yes.
If I see something,
it's an awareness level that, if like you said, I think if people just aren't aware of what they're doing for the long term, you can be ignorant on that many topics. You just don't know.
Yeah, it's easy love something you know. You cannot love something you don't know.
Yes.
So if I present the coral and the coral reef to the locals and start to work with them, they will love their coral reef, because it's not my coral, it's their coral reef. And they start to take care of them and protect it, and that is the way.
Yes.
And the other way is take care of the new generation. In that way, I have give courses, dive courses and reef monitoreo to 10 young people.
Oh, yeah.
From 18 to 30.
Yes.
And is working too. When I need to help, I call any of them or all of them, and they come here and help me.
Oh, that's
Now
so
I want to have the younger generation from 8 to 12, so we are doing a team, time team.
Are you comfortable talking briefly about your daughter's project, what she works on with the children?
Yeah, I can talk about a little bit in general.
It just brings a curiosity to me. Is that a little bit of how you're connecting that? Does her project is she helping to bring awareness for conservation with the children?
Yeah, not directly, not directly, but indirectly, yeah, because we have ecology and some matter with nature, and we talk of that with the children.
Very nice. Okay,
Yeah.
so sorry, just to pause you there. Can you briefly explain a little bit of what your daughter is doing in the community as well?
Yeah, really, we are a team. I work with the old people. I am old. I fight with machete. And my daughter is taking the younger generation from 6 months to 12 years. The idea comes from Denmark. Scandinavia have a school system. After you are in the school, you come to a kind of club or something like that, and you learn many, many things. Not just physics and mathematics, but no sé, ambience courses, father courses, love for read,
Yeah.
a good book, many things to open their minds, and they really work. She knows what to do. She have much experience, and I believe who will change the town is her, not me.
Yes.
In 10 years, 15 years, I hope this town is because they take care of the nature.
Yeah, that's awesome. Just a few more questions and we'll get this wrapped up for you. That way you can get eating your dinner.
The born dinner.
If someone younger is interested in trying to get more involved with conservation or understanding of the environment and ecosystem, with you who've kind of followed this path through your life, what advice would you give to a younger person who might be interested in these same topics of biology or the coral reef?
The bigger loser in this madness is the young people. If we continue doing what we do now,
Yes.
they will not have a future. So we can stop now or try to do something about it so they can follow our path in conservation.
Okay.
Because if they don't do that, they are toast.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then
So I want to say to the younger people, be more interesting in nature. Be more one thing with nature, because we are one thing with nature. We will destroy it, we will be destroyed too.
for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And we need to be more careful, be more conscious. The time we have conscience about this big problem, everybody gets better.
Yes. And it just starts with steps. It takes time. You've witnessed it
No,
firsthand.
but the best thing about this is anybody can do that, something.
Yeah.
I know a special person. I a normal guy, and everybody can do that.
Yes.
Something.
For sure.
And if you try to do something about your environment, it's a good job.
Very nice.
Yeah, if everybody do a little environment job around you, we maybe don't have the problem we have now.
It's much easier of a task for sure, right? If
Yeah.
everybody just does a little.
Yeah. But everybody can understand if you try to explain or give the example.
Oh yeah, being an
Yeah.
example is huge for
Yeah.
people to. And I think what you try and do, I think you're an inspiration, Carlos. It's awesome.
Thank you very much, Jacob.
Just one last thing, okay?
Yeah,
Don't want to
yeah,
take any
of
more of
course,
your
of
time. If sorry, just let this truck go by.
Fuel
Yes.
truck.
Yeah, oh yes. If someone is traveling by like us, like we are when we reached out on booking, or if someone wants to get involved with your passion and your project, or potentially get involved with your daughter's project with community, how could somebody reach out to you?
Yeah, you can get me like Villa Machalilla, and you can in Facebook or Instagram. Valeria have Casa Buho
Okay.
page, so you can follow her there,
Okay.
and you have all the information to how contact, and if somebody want to volunteer, yeah, and if you want to volunteer with me, you can write to me in Villa Machalilla in Google
Yes, yes.
Map, in Booking, in Airbnb, normal
Okay.
platform.
Okay, for sure. I'll just provide all of the links within the video so that they can directly reach out to you from the video if anybody watches it and they want to come make their way this way.
Just come. I make you work.
For sure.
Yeah.
Carlos, I think I'm fine. I don't want to take up more of your time. Thank you for letting me record this, and thank you for everything you're doing.
Thank you to you, Jacob.
Thank you. Awesome. Are you good, Morgan?
Captain
Very
Morgan.
Arg.
Arr.